This is Vaughn Clement. We're going to go ahead and do a tour of CRM and project management. This application is so large it'll be in two parts. First part will try to cover this area, which is mostly the marketing and proposal management. And in the second part, we'll try to cover the project management aspects of this app. The application is designed so that you can flow through it with this diagram, following this path on the initial setup, and you can kind of see that this has more diversification as far as the project management side is concerned. There is a help site for the developer if you click on this icon. One of the things I want to point out that this is a very large app, and as you can see here, it goes all the way out of sight with different screens. So it is quite complex, and for that reason I recommend that you read the user guide. This tour will be just a kind of hitting the high points so you understand how the application works. Then it's a good idea to download or view the user guide and then get a detailed description of each field on each screen. Okay, let's start out by going to customer. The customer screen has a number of different parts to it. This part over here is called the selection area, and if you click on one of the green icons at the edge of the record here on this row, it'll take you to that particular record. Right now we're in this John Smith record, which is a generic record for sample in the application. What you would normally do when you start a new project is if you don't already have a record for the client, the primary client, you would create a new record in this screen and then go ahead and add any associated contacts to that list in this area, and then any comments that are related to the company down here. The thing has a location based on the address that you put in this particular screen for the primary contact. If you click on the location icon, it'll bring up the company, photo, directions to how to get to the company, and the actual map location on Google. And in this case, there's a picture that was added from this side of the screen up to the top so that you would have a current picture of the company that you're dealing with. Let's go back to customer for a second. There is also a list view, and there's list views in many of the screens that allow you to pick which clients you want to look for, and in this case there's only 3 currently in the samples. If you click on the icon at the end of the row, it brings you back to this record. Normally when you're creating a client project, you would start out by taking leads. Now leads can be multiple leads for a company, and the way you do that is you create a new record in here, and then you pick the company to which you're going to add the lead. Then the lead would become a company where you would a situation where you would do marketing, document management, and the following things up here, and end up doing a proposal on this side of the application. So down here, this has come from the company screen, the first one, the contact that we looked at, and then there's lead information down here that's based on who the lead came from, who it was taken by, the origin of the lead, and why it was proposed to do, and then the requirements list for that particular lead that may be part of the proposal. Okay, let's go on to the business track. I'm going to jump a little over the top. The business track is basically an area where you document anything that the marketing department or the project company or project group would have put in as far as things that were promised or associated to items that will be in the contract. This is a good place to keep track of all of those items that may have at one time or another came in and needed to be documented as far as items for the project itself leading toward the proposal. I kind of use the word liars information because in a lot of cases these can be items that fall into a breach of contract or a dispute where either the client or the company has made a promise and didn't fulfill it, and that can be on either side of the contract. either the company or the client. So it's a good idea to document all these. There is a send action memo if there's an action related to this. It's like the pink slip that you had when you get an office phone call. And I'm not going to show that, but basically it is a little memorandum about any one of these items that can be sent out to anybody in your company via email or printing it. Let's go back now and look at document track. Document track is where any document that is sent out, including proposal or things leading up to the proposal, and these mean in either direction, from the client or to the client. So what you do is you track everything that goes out for document control and revision control in this screen. You can keep notes down at the bottom about what was sent. This is an infinite field, so you can put as many notes in there as you need to. Let's talk a little bit then about the marketing group. Leading toward doing a proposal based on the information that came in on the lead and the subsequent conversations with the client, you would want to go ahead and use your contact list to use and add contacts that are related to the proposal effort and then on into the project. And then there's a proposal list where as you add new proposals, you would then add the information for the proposal that would lead into this screen, which is the actual proposal screen. So if you look up on the top, you don't see the proposal because the icon, because you're actually in that screen. It would be shown in other screens. Okay. Basically what you do in this screen is you're accomplishing a task where you take the proposal, labor, materials, and all the other items, and if I scroll down this screen, you'd be able to see the different things that are here. And of course a pick list if you wanted to jump back and forth between the different projects to see if there are things that are related to another project where you can use that information. This is the proposal team and their assignments as far as the proposal is concerned. And over here, as you generate information down here in the cost for the proposal, it will calculate up here and it'll show you your actual gross margin as far as what you're going to be receiving. The margin is based on 100% of the cost, and then in this case, like there's a 10% margin, 25% margin, 30% margin, depending on the screen that you're in, and that goes down for all the items that are being added to the proposal. As you can see down here, there's another 110 and 110. As you put in the actual dollars into the rows within the project estimate, and this comes from the team that's going to be actually providing the services or whatever you're proposing. As you add these items in here, it automatically calculates it up to the top and then adds the overhead and then shows you the margin for each one of the items that is being proposed. Now consider that this is the marketing budget, not the actual operations or project budget. That's very important to recognize. So whatever the margin is here, that will not be passed over to the operations group as far as the project is concerned. They would be working with the unmargined price, which is the estimate of all the dollars minus the overhead and profit. Okay. Once again, there's another list in here that actually shows the actual projects and the information as far as margin and budget. Okay, we're going to move over to project management in the next part of this, but before we leave, let's talk a little bit about the meetings. Meetings are a very important part of the project as far as budgeting, because as you talk to people or make contact with another company, as far as what is in the proposal and how you're going to budget it, you're going to want to have notes and information as far as those project items. So if you go into a project meeting, you want the points that were covered, any meeting actions, the action people, the action types, and the action due dates. And as you can see, there's an icon at the end of the row which will give you a more larger area to go ahead and pop this up to add more data. And again, there's another project memo that is related to meetings where you can send out another meeting note to different people. And then each action description is put in here as far as the action descriptions that have to be tracked and taken care of. Okay. And of course, there's another list view on this. Now, just so you know, on the iPad, list views and reports do not run because the processor cannot handle the list views although there is a list view that is built onto the application, but it's an unsorted and uncustomized list, so it's not, the fields are not sorted in any specific order on the iPad. Okay, with that, this is the end of the tour for the first part, and we will go on into the project portion in the next view. And thank you for watching part 1 of the tour.